Hi, it's Matt Patrick, and this is a video exclusive here at 953mnc.com with U.S. Senator Dan Coats, Senator from Indiana. And we've got some of your questions right here that you have submitted through our Facebook page, and I'm going to kind of rapid fire them to the Senator, and he's going to give me some rapid fire answers here. The first question comes from JR, who asks, who would you like to see as our next president?
My man Mitch.
I wasn't ready for that one.
My man Mitch.
He's not. His hat is not in the ring.
It should be in the ring. He's the guy that you can put in Washington, D.C. and know that you're going to get some good government.
All right, there you go. There you go. Senator Coates says Mitch Daniels. All right, Candace wants to know, would you be willing to introduce a term limit bill and keep introducing it until it passes?
Yes, I would. I did that when I first went to Congress. I lived by it. That's why I left after serving. Only came back after 12 years being out because Barack Obama was taking our country down the tubes, and I wanted to do something about it.
And we're glad to have you back, by the way.
Thank you.
We have a lot of liberals that love to listen to this radio station because apparently it just gets their knickers in a twist. And Terry's one of those, and he asks, when is the war on workers and the war on the poor going to end, Senator?
Well, look, we all have a stake in this thing, and everybody's going to have to step up. And this isn't a war on workers, for goodness sakes. This is a war on public employees who need to get in line with what everybody else is doing. I mean, the benefits that some of these people have gotten are way out of line with what can be earned in the private sector, and states are going broke. So it's either go broke or make some changes, and we're trying to make reasonable changes.
Excellent. All right. Donna wants to know that if you are having any serious talks about cutting the spending, she's very worried about that. Are there serious talks in the Senate as there are in the House to cut the spending?
There are very serious talks. We have spent a lot of time talking about it. People have a genuine concern and fear, some of us, about what might happen to our country if we can't start doing something right now. I've been going across the aisle talking to guys and say, hey, look, let's take this out of politics. Our country's at a crisis point, edge of a cliff. You guys got to step up and help us, because we can't tell the president what to do. You're the ones that have to tell him what to do. And if he doesn't get on board, we're not going to make it. So let's not let the crisis take us down. Let's try to do something about it.
Teresa wants to know, Senator, is it possible to cut the spending without raising the debt ceiling? Can we get rid of Obamacare, some of the entitlement programs that we can't afford? Is it possible to really go after some of these sacred cows that seem to be protected by some of the left?
Well, we need to go after those. Here's our problem. We only control one house of Congress, and the president has the veto pen. So we have got to get Democrat representatives and Democrat senators and Democrats across the country pressing on the president. Mr. President, step up to the plate here. It's going to save us from being in a much worse situation. He's not listening to Republicans. Maybe he'll listen to Democrats who finally understand the seriousness of this. You can't spend $3.7 trillion a year and take in $2.2 trillion year after year after year without getting yourself in serious trouble. Every family knows that. Every business knows that. Somebody said do the math, and it's only third grade math. I mean, we're running ourselves into bankruptcy, and so all of us have to step up. But if the president doesn't, we're getting nowhere.
Senator, final question here from Candace. She wants to know, and I think this is a great question, when are we going to secure our borders?
Right now, we've got 21,000 agents engaged in this thing. We've made some positive steps, but that's a long border, and there's still a lot of work to do. And it's got to be, in my mind, combined with going after employers who knowingly hire illegals. We've got to, this state of Arizona passed this law that the federal government is challenging. I support the people in the state of Arizona. The government has not stepped up to do its job. States ought to have the right to do it. I thought the law they passed was very reasonable in that regard. But look, we need to get Americans back to work, American citizens back to work, and we can't do that if those jobs are being taken by illegal immigrants.
Do you have any questions for me, Senator? Do you have any questions for our audience? I'll just kind of turn this back to you. Anything that you'd like to ask us, or anything you'd like to tell us before I
would like your audience to continue the pressure, to continue to step up, to come out of your businesses and your homes and your bowling clubs and golf groups and all of that. Be bold. and understand the nature of this problem and be engaged. And that can be everything from just talking about it at the water cooler at work and getting people fired up over what needs to be done to forming groups and being engaged in the political situation. Our country's facing a serious problem. And unless the American people get engaged, we're not going to solve it, because they're the ones that representatives are responsible to, and they need to hear from the people on the ground.
Excellent. U.S. Senator Dan Coates joining us here today, an exclusive here, 953mnc.com, right here on Michiana's Morning News. I'm Matt Patrick. It's a pleasure, and don't forget, the only place you're going to hear this kind of conversation is 953 MNC.